We are going to go south of the Rhône, and here the valley widens. And that means that there's a lot of sun, and it's a little bit easier to work the vine. And in that valley, as well as in Provence, you've got a wind called le Mistral, which is a very strong wind. It can be deeply unpleasant. It can be a pain if you're working in the vineyards, but it can be turned into your advantage as well, because it gets very hot in both areas, in Côte-du-Rhône and in Provence. But if you have some rain, heavy rain, you don't want your grapes to be completely soaking wet. So the Mistral acts like a big hairdryer and dries your grapes, and they are prevented from rotting, basically, which is important. Those two types of grapes really like the sun. You couldn't grow them in a cool or moderate climate area. One is red and red fruit, and it's very light. It's very easy to drink for Côte-du-Rhône, but you're still going to find that little spicy note that you find in a Côte-du-Rhône that makes it recognizable. Okay, light, fruity, tiny bit spicy. The next one in Provence. Now, Côte-du-Rhône is a famous, it's a classic wine area. Côte de Provence is an emerging one. Provence is normally known for one type of wine, and that's rosé. Yeah, sometimes cheap and nasty rosé. Let's be frank. But it's emerging now as more of an area for wine, and it's getting some recognition and some prizes. And some wine growers, including this one, are turning towards red, because you can grow the same grapes as Côte-du-Rhône. This one is going to be a blend of Shiraz and Grenache. Also some Mourvèdre, Mataro in Australian wines, and some Cinsault. So you've got to decide between these two. So we have this very fruity and light, a tiny bit spicy Côte-du-Rhône, and this one, which is more corsé, we'll say. But that some people really like, because they like, wine with a bit of personality. So that's your chance if you've never tried a red Provence and you think Provence is all about strange rosé. Okay? Right. Katie will serve the Côte-du-Rhône and I'll serve the Côte de Provence. So. I think sometimes it's easier for areas which have a bit more freedom with what they're doing, rather than the one that are constantly controlling. Sometimes you've got to be controlled as how much pesticide you use, and you've got to use some of it. So in Provence, they're quite good at that. In Alsace, the first one we tried, they're also very good at that, because they've always had this concern for the environment. So they've always been more organic than everyone else. So it feels, it feels humid when you're there, much more so than if you're next to Bordeaux with the influence of the sea. That also can be used to the wine grower's advantage, because it encourages something called noble rot. Sounds disgusting, I know, and it is a fungus, yes, but it's the kind of fungus you want as a wine grower, because what it does is it shrivels the skin of the grape, and that concentrates the sugar in the grape, and that makes for beautiful, sweet wines. That's completely different to the Sylvaner or the Macron Village that you've tasted at the beginning. These are light. This one is much more full-bodied. People call it a dessert wine. I don't like it, because I'm not really a dessert person. So yes, you can eat it with something very sweet, because it's such a sweet wine that the sweetness of the dessert is not going to make it appear, bland. But what I like it with is a bit of Roquefort. If I'm in England, I can't find Roquefort, some blue cheese, because the sweetness, extreme sweetness of the Montbazillac with the saltiness of the cheese just works. Right? It just does. It doesn't sound like it is, but it does. Some people eat it with some kind of pâté that I'm not allowed to mention here. Right. So the choice now is slightly easier, because you know what kind of person you are. Is it going to be the friendly, crowd-pleasing, Merlot, modern style, or is it going to be the very sweet? And I have to apologize for the temperature, because it should be served icy, well, not icy, but 6-8 degrees, and it's going to be warmer than that here. But that's the best we can do with having them open here. So if you have two glasses, obviously you have to decide which color it is, and at the end maybe you'll be able to try the other one. Katie will serve the Merlot and I'll serve the Montbazillac. Thanks. Okay. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed the talk. If there's any wine that you haven't tasted, I'll put them on this table. That you haven't tasted and you think, oh, I'd like to try that one, then help yourself with your little glass. Thank you.